children, we're going to be reading Franklin is Lost. So this book is by Paulette Bergios and Brenda Clark. Look, Franklin's all alone by himself there, and he looks really scared. I wonder how he got there. Let's find out. Let's see. Franklin could slide down a riverbank. He could count forwards and backwards. He could zip zippers and button buttons. He could even walk to Bear's house all by himself. But Franklin was not allowed to go into the woods alone. One day, Franklin said, "I'm going to play at Bear's house." "All right," said Franklin's mother, "but be home for dinner by 6 o'clock." She showed him the time with the hands on the clock. And Franklin, she warned, don't go into the woods alone. See, Franklin has rules to keep him safe just like you kids do. What's something that you're not allowed to do that keeps you safe? Franklin raced down the path, over the bridge, and across the berry patch. Bear was there, Fox was there, Goose and Otter were there. "I'm here," huffed Franklin. "What are you playing?" "Hide and seek," shouted his friends, "and you're it." Franklin started counting. Hide and seek was his favorite game. He wasn't very fast, but he was very clever. He knew Bear always hid in the berry patch. "See, we see Bear there." "Oh, it looks like he's eating the berries, though. I think he was more having a snack time than playing." Franklin looked around. He saw a shaggy paw swipe at a branch of berries. "I see you, Bear," he called. Franklin spotted feathers and fur under the bridge. "I see you, Goose. I see you, Otter," he called. So see, Otter's there and Goose is here. I think they're just having fun playing in the water. Those animals like to be in water. Only Fox was left to find. Franklin walked this way and that. He looked into bushes and searched under logs. He walked along the path and over the bridge, and without even thinking, he walked right into the woods. He looked into burrows and all around trees. Franklin searched everywhere, but he couldn't find Fox. Oh no! See if Franklin's going from where it's nice and pretty and sunny out to a dark forest all by himself. That's not very safe for Franklin to do. Fox wasn't in the woods at all. He was hiding inside Bear's house. After a while he shouted, "Can't catch me!" But Franklin couldn't hear him. He was too far away. "Where's Franklin?" asked Fox. Nobody knew. They waited a long time. Bear's tummy growled. Finally, Goose said, "It's almost 6 o'clock. Franklin must have hurried home for supper." "Of course," they said, and off they went. Oh no, Franklin's all by himself and everyone's leaving. At Franklin's house, the clock struck 6. Franklin's parents were annoyed. Their supper was ready. So children, annoyed means when your parents or even yourselves, you're not very happy. It can be when someone knocked down your block tower. It could be when your parents say that you can't go out and play. So let's get back. So by 6:30, they were worried and went looking for Franklin. Franklin's father searched along the path. "Franklin," he called, "where are you?" Franklin's mother talked to his friends. So see, she's talking to Bear there. "Where's Franklin?" she asked Bear. "Where's Franklin?" she asked Otter and Goose. "Where's Franklin?" she asked Fox. Nobody knew. Now they were worried too. So see, it looks like Goose and Otter are still by the water. Do you think that maybe an otter and goose would live by the water? It was getting dark. Franklin turned one way and then another. Every tree looked the same. Every rock looked the same. He couldn't find the path. Oh, those trees look pretty scary. They have faces on them. Do trees normally have faces on them? "I'm lost," said Franklin in a tiny little voice. He couldn't remember which way he had come. He didn't know which way to go. He was tired and frightened and all alone. Franklin curled up in his small dark shell and waited. Somebody would come, sometime, wouldn't they? Dark shadows flittered across the rocks. "Who's there?" whispered Franklin. but no one answered because it was the clouds blowing across the face of the moon. Who? Who's there? Whispered Franklin, but no one answered because it was Owl, far, far away. So see, we have Owl here, and Franklin's probably all the way in the forest over there. So who's there? Whispered Franklin, but no one answered because it was the wind whistling through the trees. Franklin tried to sleep, but every sound made him jump. He was humming himself a little tune when he heard crick-crack, 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 squish. Who's there? Whispered Franklin, but no one answered. Then Franklin heard a new sound. It sounded like someone was calling his name. He heard it again. Here I am, Franklin shouted over and over. Who do you think found him? Crick-crack, 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 squish. So that would be like the sound of footprints. Franklin's parents came over the knoll. So children, a knoll, it's like a little hill. It's just a different word that we use for it. There you are, they hugged him and kissed him and held him tight. We were so worried, said Franklin's father. You were told not to go into the woods alone, scolded his mother. It wasn't on purpose, sniffled Franklin. I was looking for Fox and I forgot. Well, thank goodness you're safe, said Franklin's parents. They found the path and walked all the way home. Their supper was still warm in the oven. After 2 helpings of everything, Franklin had something important to say. I'm sorry. I promise I'll never go into the woods alone again. Even if Fox hides in there? Asked his mother. Even if Bear hides in there? Asked his father. Even if everybody hides in there, said Franklin. It was 1:30 bedtime. Franklin crawled into his warm, safe shell. Good night, dear, said his parents, but no one answered because Franklin had fallen fast asleep. Oh, see, he looks much happier now that he's safe at home, especially with his teddy bear there. So, children, we're going to do some activities where you match what the different animals eat and do a memory game. So let's go over to one of the centers and we'll try.